Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Afterthought channel, my blog. This your boy Z the Real here, and then right now I'm gonna basically tell you who George Soros is, because people need to get understanding of what this man is, who he represents, and you also need to know that he's one of the reasons why the black community has never progressed like it should be, right? Why the black community continues to be taken advantage of every year. Okay. I know a lot of people have heard a lot about George Soros, especially with this Black Lives Matter movement. So I'm just going to cover this now. Now, I've actually talked about Black Lives Matter on this channel before. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2 years ago. Okay, and I exposed who they really are, because that's not a real movement at all. Okay, so you need to know who's the one behind that, who started it, right? Because ain't no black man, a black man did not start Black Lives Matter. It was this guy here, George Soros. Okay. No, ain't no, and you need to understand why there's no straight people leading it either. Like the people that's actually speaking up and actually representing Black Lives Matter, ain't no straight people, okay? And I'm gonna tell you that now, as I get down to this video, right? So let me just run over some information about Soros, right? I'm just gonna run down some stats, and I'm gonna basically I'm gonna tell you the whole point of this video, right? And I'm just gonna reveal who this guy is. So who is George Soros? Okay, so for one, okay, so he's a Hungarian-American billionaire investor and philanthropist, excuse me. He has a net worth of $8.3 billion. He's donated more than $32 billion to the Open Society Foundations, which is an organization itself. He survived Nazi Germany, occupied Hungary, right? So the man, so the man's Hungarian, so he was around at the time when Nazi Germany and Hitler was still around in full effect, the Third Reich. Okay. By the way, he's around. He's about almost 80-something years old. He's in his late 70s. He's well-known supporter of progressive and liberal politics causes to dispense through his foundation. Excuse me. So again, he's a liberal supporter. So he's definitely into them politics, right? Now, most people try to talk about left-wingers. He's one of them. Between 1979 and 2011, he donated more than $11 billion to various philanthropic causes, right? Continuing on, numerous American conservatives have promoted false claims that categorize Soros as a singularly dangerous puppet master behind a variety of alleged global plots. This is according to Wikipedia, right? According to Google. So, of course, there are people who's going to basically defend Soros. We all know that. The New York Times reporting that by 2018, these claims have moved from the fringes to the mainstream of Republican politics. So meaning that Soros has also been dipping, dabbling in between. He's going in between parties, right? He's going from one fence to the other, right? He's not just a Democratic, right? He's also been on the Republican side, so he's playing both sides of the fence. Okay, and let's see. He's the Black Lives. He started Black Lives Matter. What? Okay, so yes, he's Jewish. He's of Jewish descent, right? Often it's been described as anti-Semitic. Yes, because conspiracy theories has targeted Soros, who is of Jewish descent, often been described as anti-Semitic. Okay, so yeah, you've seen a lot of YouTube videos on this guy, right? Chronicles of Judah have even covered him before, who I follow. There's been many other videos on this guy, right? Now, I'm going to tell you about Black Lives Matter, right? And this is their slogan, because I've been on the website recently. I'm just going to run you some information of what they are. So Black Lives Matter say what matters in 2020. So this is their this is pretty much their agenda, right? It's a campaign aimed to maximize the impact of the Black Lives Matter movement, BLM, by giving supporters and allies, basically galvanizing supporters and allies to the polls. Okay, and I meant that in quotation marks, right? They was founded in 2013 in response to the acquisition of Anquan Martin's murderer, right? The acquitted of Anquan Martin's murderer, George Zimmerman. It is a global organization in the U.S., U.K., and Canada. So they're not just dealing with America, right? They're not just dealing supposedly with the issues over here. It's global, okay? Whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy. Okay, so I just want to know that round. Let me read that again. Right? So pretty much they were dedicated to pretty much taking down George Zimmerman, right? It is a global organization in the US, UK, and Canada whose mission is to eradicate white supremacy. They affirm the lives of black, queer, okay? And I want you to pay attention to this in detail, okay? Let me read this again. They affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all black lives along gender spectrum. Our network centers those who have been marginalized within black liberation movements. So they're not just dealing with black people, right? They deal with gays and lesbians, with the LGBTQ. Okay, so if you wonder why there's a lot of men who are gay and women who are also gay, you know what I'm saying, studs, dykes, whoever you want to call it, that's speaking up for them, that's representing them. Now you know why, right? They don't just help black people. They're not helping our people at all, right? This guy, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, George Soros is only created Black Lives Matter to make himself look good and to pretty much control black people, right? This man wants black people to think a certain way. He wants to control the narrative, pretty much. Because in the last 10 years, last 8 years in that matter, right? Since 2012, I've not seen anything that Black Lives Matter have made towards progress. For example, right? He founded them, you know what I'm saying, when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, but George Zimmerman has still not went to prison at all, right? George Zimmerman has been let free ever since then, right? George Zimmerman continues to walk the streets. This man has done nothing against George Zimmerman at all, right? You would think with the money this man got, he got the best lawyers in the world. You would think George Zimmerman would be serving life sentence. No, that's not true. George Zimmerman has since then, right, sold the gun. He auctioned off the gun he shot the little boy with, right? And he has since then been talking mess and even sued the Martin family just this year. And I actually covered that on this channel, right? Earlier this year, that man filed, I think it might have been last year, the man filed a lawsuit against Trayvon Martin's family, right, for supposedly them lying on him, okay? George Soros didn't do a damn thing to Zimmerman. And he not going to do it either. He ain't going to do nothing to these white folks. Right? You'll think the police officers that had killed Eric Gardner, Phileo Castillo, Stephon Clark, Alton Sterling, Breonna Taylor, right, all unarmed, including George Floyd, you would think these people with these all officers will all be serving 25 to life sentences or life sentences in that regard, right? Nope, that ain't the case. This man ain't going to do nothing to his own kind. Right, Soros ain't gonna do nothing to people who look just like him. So again, you need to understand that now, black man, black woman. You need to understand what we dealing with here. Okay? Because Soros, you seen this, right? This man got 8.3 billion, especially in American dollars, right? Now to get to this man is also rich worldwide. They all know who this man is. This man here has enough money to basically help black folks resurrect Black Wall Street that was once burned down by his own kind in this country. This man got enough money to basically help black people build their own version of Wakanda. Not only America, but also in the world, in Africa, and them places, right? He's not going to do it. This man got enough money to send black politicians such as John Lewis, rest in peace, who just recently passed away, right, into the office, right, into the White House, right? He got enough money to send these black politicians into Congress, right? They could send him into governor positions. He's not going to do it. Okay? This man is just taking advantage of the black community. Because where's that money that Black Lives Matter has raised been going? Right? They supposedly been raising all these donations. Where is it going? This man is not helping people like Umar Johnson, right, with the funding to build a school. Now, we all know Umar Johnson is a problem within itself, right? I told you about him before, and there's been a lot of other YouTubers, such as shouts out to Moneywood Green, right? The keyboard musician. There's been a lot of other YouTubers who expose Umar Johnson. So we all know about his situation, right? But again, Soros has not reached out to nobody like such as Umar Johnson or people like Umar Johnson that's been trying to build black schools, right? He hasn't done that. This man is not going to build and fund a black-owned museum, right? A black museum, excuse me. He's not going to start a black museum, right? And tell you the truth about your own people. He's just not going to do that, right? This man is not going to tell you the truth about who your people are and why his people decide to put us in slavery in the first place. He's not going to tell you that truth. This man is not going to tell you that our black people are the true Jews and not his. He is not going to tell you that our people are the true lost people of Israel. He's not going to say that at all. He knows the truth already. He's not going to ever tell you that. He don't want that in your brain. Right? This guy, George Soros, here is the real devil. Okay? You look at the face of a devil. This man, all this man is doing, right, is got black people trying to get on their knees, begging the government for reparations that he could actually help provide. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're never going to see them reparations. You know how long people have been asking for reparations for the last 50-something years? Spike Lee has had movies talking about 40 Acres of the Moon, right? We'll never see them reparations at all. Because what Soros is not going to tell you that the government, America's in debt now. We're not only in debt with China, right? We're also in debt with Japan and other countries, right, that we've been doing business with, that we've been getting our goods from. Right? He's not going to tell you that. Matter of fact, shouts out to my friend Matt Goldmans on his channel, right? Go look at Matt Goldmans. There's a picture of a lion on here, or a cheetah, whatever. He's actually exposed Soros that the guy, like the coronavirus, has came from one of George Soros' labs. So there's a conspiracy going around as to who started that coronavirus. And supposedly the coronavirus was developed in one of his labs in America, somewhere out here in the U.S. on U.S. land, right? And I remember my brother and his his girl telling me this not too long ago. I think it was last month, that there was a Chinese man that started that virus because China was already pissed off at Donald Trump. Okay, so there was a Chinese man who came from China just to unleash that virus, right? And then he tried to flee. And before he could flee, the CIA caught up to him. But supposedly Soros was behind that whole attack. Right? There's my friend Matt Gomez on Instagram. Right? He actually has a picture of it. Somebody actually did. Somebody looked up and did research and exposed that Soros, that one of the labs that this man unleashed the coronavirus was actually started at George Soros' lab. Now, whether that's to be true or not remains to be seen. But I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. It's obvious that could have happened. This coronavirus actually was obviously man-made. And Soros could have had a part in it just so he could continue to take advantage of what's going on with the situation. Right? Because again, George Soros understands that the black community and people are looking for a savior. They want somebody to save them. He knows that a lot of black people aren't going to do this by themselves. Right? They need somebody to come be their savior. They need somebody to come. They're always looking for help. They're not going to do it by themselves. And I told you that in my Black Tuesday video, right? We need to stop looking for people like George Soros to save us. The way you fight off white supremacy is showing people like Soros that you don't need them. Because all Soros is going to do is take advantage of it. He's really not going to help you all. He has no intention of really helping black people get in power like that. Because why would he want to help you get more powerful than him? Because Soros knows this, that black people get a lot of power, right? Somebody like Louis Farrakhan, right? And Al Sharp that really get in power like that. And black folks really start knowing who they are. And they start learning about their native language, right? And who they truly are in their history. They could become even more powerful than him. He doesn't want that, right? Soros wants to remain on top. So what better way to remain on top than start an organization like Black Lives Matter and have them doing things that don't even help black people, right? That's not going towards the better good, right? Just have them basically raising a whole, basically protesting, right? Let's complain, right? Let's have black people complain, right? Let's have them protest. Let's have them be destructive, right? And let's not teach them how to build. Let's not teach them how to invest, right? Let's not teach them how to start their own black-owned bank, right? Let's not teach them how to invest in their own business. Let's not teach them how to build their own schools, how to develop their own education, right? Let's just have them beg for opportunities, right? Let's just have them start just protesting, right? Let's let them tear up their own city. You know what I'm saying? Let's let them get mad over these police officers killing your own people. And let's not teach them how to build their own weapons and go to war, right? And build their own army. Let's just show them, let's just teach them how to be helpless, right? Because it's George Soros the reason why these black people are telling you that the election is rigged. Again, anybody thinks election is rigged, that's a lie, right? That's a mental game. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think the election is rigged so you don't get involved with voting at all in the next election. For example, there's an election coming up in November, right? And what do you think George Soros is going to be doing, right? I tell you, he's played both sides of the fence. George Soros could actually be putting money in Trump's campaign For all you know, Soros could be the one behind Trump even getting in office. Because there are some black Republicans. I'll show you that now, right? There's a lot of few black Republicans such as Kanye West, right? Floyd Mayweather Jr., who a lot of y'all got respect for, right? But Floyd Mayweather Jr. said out of his own mouth, I'm going to Trump's inauguration. I voted for Trump. He said that on TMZ when they asked him, okay? You got Crusette Michelle that played at Trump's campaign. So, for all you know, George Soros could have been at that inauguration, right? When Trump said his victory speech, he could have been there in the background somewhere, right? Again, I don't trust people like this dude here. I don't. And I remember in my Metal Gear Illuminati 2 video, do I get a response to? I told people stop comparing George Sears to George Soros. Because George Sears was actually going against the government in the Metal Gear. For those that played Metal Gear Solid 2, 1 and 2, right? In Metal Gear Solid 1, George Sears was the actual president of the United States, according to that game's timeline, right? When we had Snake, right? The actual main character, Snake, Big Boss's son, going against Liquid Snake, he was the president. In Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Sergei Galukovich's army, along with Olga, right? His daughter, and Dead Cell, which is the unit that George Sears took membership in, those people were actually going against the government. They declared war, and they actually kidnapped the president, right? They was demanding justice. George Sears had an entire army, right? As well as Big Boss, right? Called Outer Heaven. That man was actually doing things to change. He was actually a real revolutionary in that regard. Even though he was evil and wicked, right? He was still doing things to help change stuff. He was making things happen. Soros is not going to do none of that stuff. Because if a war was to ever break out between blacks and whites, the whites these Confederate rednecks, right, was to ever declare war against these black people decide they're not going to take it no more, and we get a whole lot of Antoine Dotsons, we get like thousands of them rising up, and they begin to go to war with these white folks, much like we did in the Civil War. Soros is not going to be fighting with us. George Soros is going to get in his jet plane and fly off to another country somewhere way off the grid, and we'll never see this man again. I told y'all about that before, right? And that's including Max Kellerman and even people like Rick Strom. Since people don't understand why I go after Rick Strom the way I do, now you know why. Because Rick Strom is only using black people for views. That's all he do. He acts like he cares. He really doesn't, right? Because never once do you see Rick Strom out there with a picket sign actually protesting, right? You'll never see Rick Strom telling you who he's going to vote for, who he's going to vote against. As much as he talked against Trump, he never voted against Trump at all, right? That's not his plan, right? The liberals want you. The liberals are not going to actually go against who your enemy is, right? They just want you to be helpless. Right? Rick Strom keep praising Colin Kaepernick, but he won't do nothing for black people his damn self. Right? There are no Blackout Tuesdays on Rick Strom's Instagram account. Neither is it on his Twitter. That man don't really care, right? All he cares about is to get your views and your attention. Okay? That's all Rick Strom cares about. He constantly attacks the NFL, but the NFL gave Colin Kaepernick numerous opportunities to return back and get signed to a team. Not to forget to mention, they gave the player coalition $8.9 million, which Rick Strom doesn't report. For example, what's going on in Chirac right now, right? All this killing that's going on between these black people, Soros got enough money and influence to try to change it, right? He won't do it. This man never once helped Obama try to change Chicago at all, while Obama was president all that time. What Nipsey Hussle was doing out here in LA and California, right? Building, buying those black-owned shops, buying that the All Money In store, right? Fixing up the community, buying apartment buildings and housing, right? Donating money to these churches, cleaning up his city. George Soros wasn't doing that at all. To no other black owner. What Nipsey Hussle was doing in LA, doing on Crenshaw Boulevard, George Soros wasn't doing that for no black person at all. Again, George Soros was not buying apartment buildings, right? He was not providing jobs in none of the low-income housing communities. None of that was going on. This man ain't put no money towards no school at all, no museum, none of that. No black-owned bank, nothing. This man ain't giving no. Most of the business that black people have ran, they had to do it by themselves. Okay? Matter of fact, I've had the pleasure of going to a black-owned museum in Jackson, Mississippi, where my mom's side of the family is from, right? This was 2 years ago when I went down there, right? And the museum I went to was actually founded by Oprah Winfrey, right? Yes, Oprah Winfrey owns black-owned museums throughout the United States. She's opened up more than one. Since everybody like to talk mess about Oprah Winfrey this and she that, and she evil, Oprah Winfrey has done more for black folks than what Soros has actually been doing in the last 8 years since he founded Black Lives Matter. See, Oprah Winfrey has her own black-owned network, right? And so George Soros didn't help Oprah Winfrey start that network at all. Just like George Soros didn't help Bill Cosby own NBC. And that's where Bill Cosby really went down. If you wonder why Bill Cosby in jail now, because these Caucasians still ain't forgave Bill Cosby for trying to buy off NBC, right? George Soros had never helped somebody like Bill Cosby buy an entire network, a major network in that regard, okay? So y'all need to understand what this man really is. And I just told you. Now, he's a billionaire investor, right? He got all this money, but he's not really helping black people in that sense, right? You would think that this man got enough money to change the entire police force. It's like I told y'all before, right? In my Black Tuesday video, and go watch that. I tell you, the policies of the police department needs to be changed, right? The way the hiring process needs to change, right? What they're teaching these officers, right? Even leadership, right? These captains, these sergeants. The reason why these officers are killing a lot of these unarmed black people is because of the sergeant. It all reflects on who the captain is. You gotta get a lot of them gotta step down. And Soros has enough money to change all that. He's just not gonna do it. Okay? He gonna continue to let black people be killed by these officers, right? He ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't gonna even endorse a candidate that can change these things. Never once have you seen Soros back any actual political candidate at all. That man definitely wasn't helping Hillary Clinton in that sense. She was never gonna be president. I told you that. But so that's the video, y'all. Y'all don't even know who this man is. All this man is doing is been taking advantage of the black community, milking y'all for your money. Right? When you pay Black Lives Matter, that money's going towards this man's pockets. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it 100, right? Let's keep it 1,000. George Soros is making money off Black Lives Matter. All right? That money going back towards his pockets, right? That's just a tax write-off for him. That man don't care about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, right? He don't care about none of those people. He could care less. Because Soros really cared about black folks, George Zimmerman will still be locked behind bars now. There's no way George Zimmerman would be let off free, still walking the streets of Florida to this day. And still, nothing happened to George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman didn't get assassinated. And you hear about him getting his ass beat. None of that. Soros ain't gonna do nothing to nobody who looks like him at all. He ain't gonna do nothing to these evil, skinhead white folks. He's not. Like I said, the officers that killed all these unarmed black people who I mentioned earlier in the video, he's done nothing to them at all. Those officers don't have a life sentence. Those officers down on death row. None of them. Okay? The Officer Derek Chauvin, the one that killed George Floyd, that put his knee on that man's neck. You don't hear about Soros trying to get this man put away for life at all. Nothing. Soros ain't said a thing about that officer. And notice too, man, when these things do go down, you don't ever hear about Soros at all. Soros is nowhere to be found. You don't hear him doing a speech. You don't hear him doing a press conference. You don't hear Soros on Instagram Live, Facebook, none of that. You don't see Soros doing a single YouTube channel at all, stating how he feels about the situation. If y'all pay very close attention. Again, this man does not care. He can care less. Right? Because like I say, he's a Jew of descent, right? This man's a Jew, but he wants to remain on top. He don't want to let black people know who they really are. As much as Black Lives Matter is doing, again, this man don't have no straight person leading that movement at all. And again, I got nothing against somebody that's gay. Okay? I stated that more than once on this channel. I'm not against gays or lesbians. I don't hate them. Right? But I'm not about to let the LGBT, right, equal themselves to what my black people have going through as far as our pain, right? I'm not going to let the LGBTQ compare themselves to a slave. Because to be gay and lesbian, that's a life choice. Okay? To be a slave, that wasn't a choice at all. Right? And that's why I didn't go along with what Kanye West is saying. Because Kanye West has just lost his mind anyway. Right? Slavery was never a choice. And just like Harriet Tubman wasn't free and safe for them to work for more white men. No. Harriet Tubman freed to save because she got tired of her people being mistreated by the white men and white women. In those camps. Right? In those slave houses. She got tired of black people getting misused and getting beaten, getting hit, right? waking up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning picking cotton. She got tired of black people fed the terrible food, right? White folks get the good food. We give it the scraps, right? She got tired of that. She wanted justice for black people. That's why she freed them. She's one of the reasons why we have Nova Scotians, right? Who YouTube and Paris Milan didn't know nothing about. The Nova Scotians are the ones who basically were able to escape the slave master, right, and go to Canada, right, and be free. She's responsible for that. All right. And again, man, Kanye is part of the program anyway, right? He's working with them, right? Nothing Kanye doing. I believe Kanye knows what he's doing, right? Kanye is working with Donald Trump. Everything he's doing is a gimmick right now, right? Kanye West is a Republican. You know what I'm saying? Everything he's doing right now, I think Kanye is smart, right? Kanye is just playing a role right now, right? I'm starting to believe that he's playing a role. He wants to make you believe that he's bipolar and that he's really mentally crazy. But the man could know exactly what he's been doing. I believe Donald Trump told Kanye West to do that rally and say those things about Harriet Tubman. To talk about his wife, Kris Jenner, because again, Donald Trump knows that Kris Jenner loves black men. She knows that family, right? The Kardashians, they love black men. So he paid Kanye West money to basically go on there and say those things and embarrass himself, right? Same thing with Candace Owens. George Soros could be the one behind funding Donald Trump. So that's why he's telling you not to vote. Just like the last election, he told Black Lives Matter to tell you they're not going to vote. Colin Kaepernick, who George Soros is pretty much pumping it, right? This is basically who Colin Kaepernick's working with. This man here. This is the man behind the whole reason why Colin Kaepernick was doing what he's doing for the NFL, right? Because he took a knee to bring awareness, but as far as voting and having an end game, Kaepernick has not won because George Soros told him not to say nothing. So the reason why Colin Kaepernick is not doing interviews, the reason why he hasn't gone on Hot 97 that his girlfriend works in, right? The reason why he hasn't gone on First Take with Stephen A. Smith inviting him, Nestle, and Eric Reed. The reason why Eric Reed has been attacking Malcolm Jenkins doing what he's doing, and the reason why they're not a part of the Players Coalition because George Soros told him to. Black Lives Matter told Kaepernick everything he's been doing now. The reason why he did that, he didn't sign that document, right, and decided to call out the owners and Roger Goodell is because George Soros told him to do all of those things. Okay? So if you don't see Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL, it's because this man is telling him exactly what to do. Because George Soros wants to control the NFL. Like he's trying to control the NBA. Right? This man wants power. He wants to be in control of everything. This is his way to continue to troll black people, right? This is a way to continue to be on top of you and to continue to control you and tell you what you can and what you can't do. All right? But folks, that's the video, man. I understand a lot of people are not going to like this video, right? The truth hurts. I get all that. But again, you need to know it. And I'm only telling you this because I actually care. And I'm tired of my people being taken advantage of. And I again, man, everybody going to have their own opinion, right? So the ones that's going to get on this video and call me a coon, just know who you dealing with here, right? The movement you support was started by this man here. Nobody black founded it. This man is a founding father of the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And there's not a single black man. There's no Barack Obama. There's no Louis Farrakhan. There's no Al Sharpton, no Reverend Jackson, right? No John Lewis. There's nobody that's straight and black leading that movement at all. Nobody. No Michelle Obama, none of them. Okay? So when you call me a coon, just know that you're working for this man. You support what this man is doing. This man is pretty much continuing the destruction of our people. This man wants our people to continue to be helpless. He wants our people to beg for people like him to come save you. Okay? That's why he started this movement, so he can continue to be in control and he can continue to control the narrative. Right? And so he can try to engineer and shape America in the direction he wants it to go. Because for all you know, this man could be responsible for shaping the one world government. Right? He could be putting funds into that. Right? It's obvious. This man wants to liberate America the way he wants it to be ran. So again, if you wonder why black people are never progressing, the reason why we can't never go forward is because this man continues to keep us held down. And once we break away from people like Soros, and we don't rely on people like Soros to help us, and we clear up our own mess, we become better off. So I don't do this just to get attention, right? I'm not doing this as a popularity contest. I do this because I care, and our people need to know what's going on behind the scenes. Behind the curtain, you got people like this man here controlling everything. That's the video, folks, man. Shouts out to all my new subscribers, right? I do this for you. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. I'll see you soon.